Selhurst Park in the background. I mean, it looks stunning, doesn't it? But it was the setting for a 4-0 defeat to Norwich City this evening in the second round of the Carabao Cup. We didn't like the Cup anyway, did we? We weren't up for the Cup. Bit of fun against Stevenage, and it soon come to an end. You hear the result 4-0, you hear the scoreline 4-0, and you think, oof, taking a pasting. Actually, I think there were positives to take from this evening's game. We saw 20 minutes in that first half, just after we conceded, where Norwich City dominated the ball. This was a Crystal Palace side pretty much unchanged from their Premier League outings. They are yet to win this season, so this was a big game for them to kind of get their campaign up and running. And well, you could tell that the difference in quality between the Championship and the Premier League, I thought the finishing was so different, and that's ultimately what decided tonight's game. There were two really good opportunities for Norwich City tonight. First half, Ante Cianat's, it's a great save from Henderson. It falls to the feet of Gabe Forsyth, 2 yards out. He somehow misses and hits the post. Should be 1-1 at that stage. And then Norwich City have a fantastic opportunity in the second half. It was a nice move, and it was again Ante Cianat's that got through on goal, produced a good save from Henderson in the Crystal Palace net, and it falls to Oscar Schwartau, who just come onto the pitch and actually set up the pass for Ante Cianat, gets onto the end of it, one-on-one, pretty much put it in the only place he couldn't, and Henderson makes a double save. It was a good double save, and Henderson was good in goal for Crystal Palace this evening, but both Forsyth and Oscar Schwartau will be really thinking that they should have scored this evening. The big negative of tonight, aside from the result, it doesn't really matter too much. This was a glorified pre-season, was the injury to Emmanuel Forson. He fell, he slipped. It was a completely, no one around him fell, and looks to me like he's dislocated his shoulder. We'll find out more about that. He did remain at the ground, and he went back to the away bench with his arm in a sling. So hopefully it's not too severe. But that wasn't great to see. Emmanuel Forson has been the man that's brought so much optimism to this Canaries outfit this season. Has been a real star in the recruitment policy over this summer, and if we're going to be missing him for a few games, that's going to be a big miss. We are particularly light in midfield. Kenny McLean had to get on, and essentially now you've got Kenny McLean, Marcelino Nunes and Liam Gibbs. That's not enough midfielders to be going to battle for the rest of this season. And we have, a few days left of this transfer window, and it still feels like there's so much work to be done, both with outgoings and incomings. You've got Abu Kamara, who's being linked to the move away. I think it's Hull and Luton who've rumoured to be putting £2.5 million bids in. That won't be enough to take him away from Carrow Road. I think for all parties concerned, it would be best if Abu Kamara moves on, but the price will need to be right. I was with Darren Kenton on Canary Call this evening. He really rates Abu Kamara. He says there's an opportunity for him to flourish at Norwich City, but his attitude certainly needs to be better than what we've seen so far. Brad Hill's another who's had a successful loan move away in the EFL, and his trajectory at Norwich City certainly looks to be very different to Abu Kamara. He seems to be patient and willing to wait for his time to come in this Norwich side. And off the back of that, I think many would have hoped that Hills would have started this evening, but it was Grant Hanley, Norwich City's captain, of course. Johannes Hoff-Torup opted for him, and really the goal was probably, he'll be gutted that he was at fault for that. It was a defence-splitting pass through Jose Cordoba and Grant Hanley. But you do look at the likes of Hanley, maybe even Shane Duffy in there, George Long, players that, do they have a future at Norwich City? I know that Norwich need to be careful with not embedding youth too quickly, and you still need a real balance of senior players here, and that's going to be the big thing for Johannes Hoff-Torup over the next few weeks, is how he embeds those youth players, how he gets the new breed of Norwich City in without disrupting things too much. But as I say, positives to take from this evening. Norwich now don't have to worry about the fixture congestion that this cup competition brings. It feels relentless at the moment with the Saturday, Tuesday games, and this was probably an unwanted task for the Canaries tonight. Still without a win in the league. They head to Coventry on Saturday, and they'll be desperate to start turning these good performances into results. Draws against Blackburn Rovers and Sheffield United, fine on paper, and the performances were good as well, but Norwich need to start putting points on the board. But having spoke to fans on BBC Radio Norfolk this evening for Canary Call, having spoke to fans pre-match, and having looked at the away end over there tonight, there is a real optimism around the place at the moment, an optimism that something's building here under the new regime of Ben Napper and Johannes Hoff-Torup, and of course Norfolk Holdings Limited and the Atanasio Group as well. It feels as if things are moving in the right direction. Still plenty to sort, rough edges to smooth. But despite a 4-0 defeat to Crystal Palace this evening, there's still hope for Norwich City. Good night, everyone.